Hey guys! Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this week I made over a pickle jar. It's Rick and Morty inspired, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hello and welcome back, my little pickle people. So as you might have seen, I wasn't here last week because I was deathly sick. But here I am with our project. Yes, it's an old pickle jar that I've had for forever for this project exactly. Not necessarily a Rick and Morty inspired, that has come in recent times, but the first course of action is obviously to clean this thing up. As you can see, I already tried to peel that whole thing off. It didn't really work.
And a drizzle of olive oil.
Glue gun is like my favorite course of action to take in order to remove these sticker things that are so difficult to get rid of, honestly. But half the time when I'm working with it, I always feel like I'm gonna die because it just kind of smells bad, and on the back it has all these warnings, and that's always terrifying to think of. Even though here I am crafting my little heart out, there's still possibility of dying. That just goes to show you that life is pretty fair. So after a while of scraping, I finally got the majority of the stickiness off, and then we're just gonna clean it off with some glass cleaner to make sure that our surface is nice and prepped for our pickles. So here we are with our design plan. As you can see, we have the entire fam to make sure that we get all of them in there. And I obviously customize them to my own liking because I couldn't really find like many pickle versions of all the characters from the show. And then here we go, planning out the label, which is what people are gonna see, right? That is what we look at, even though people tell us not to judge books by a cover. Wouldn't it be cool if Rick and Morty pickles actually existed? I buy so many.
What the heck?
So after the normal struggle, here is our inspiration for the label. I just looked up a random Rick and Morty thing and decided that that was gonna be pretty cool. Anyways, this gave me a lot of hassle. I'm not gonna lie to you. This label was, I think, a little bit too small, and it was just the proportions, yada yada. It's fine. So I went in and did the rough sketch of the label, which was honestly kind of pointless because, as you'll see later, this was work that didn't need to be done, but I'm glad I practiced a bunch so I could freehand it later on. Not gonna lie, but this was pretty difficult to do. Because I tried to replicate it as best as possible from the internet, but I mean, look at these letters. They're all like squiggly. They don't really like make sense. They make sense, but they don't make sense. And then we have the little time traveling pickles at the very bottom. And then we go in with watercolors because I thought watercolors would do the best job. But at the same time, I used watercolors because I was like, oh, I'll just be able to see my sketch and redraw it on later on. That's not how that worked because my plan ended up being that I used like pretty much all black, and I don't know about you, but black tends to cover things up pretty well, especially when it's graphite. I tried to make it as much like space as possible, but I don't really know what space looks like, and that ain't it, chief. That's so ugly, oh my god. So then I just went with the horizontal colors of black and blue because, I mean, this looks pretty good, right? Like, and then boosh, the stars. So then, because I covered everything up and you can't see the sketch from the bottom, I just went in with like a gel pen and tried to freehand this the best that I could. Honestly, pretty good. And as I focused really hard, my freaking camera died. just died. The amount of times my camera died during this, I really need to get another battery. But I wasn't gonna wait for the camera battery to charge, so I just finished it. It looks amazing. And then I added this like blue green thing to the top.
I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.
I mean, the goal here was to recreate the thing that I found on the internet as best as possible. And so I scratched that idea because it looked awful by the end, and I just covered everything with white because I thought it looked the best. And then here we go with our nail polish to seal everything in. And I thought the nail polish would be the least reactive to everything. That's why I used it. It was not. It was not. It really interacted with things because it brought up all the colors from the bottom to the top. And there you go. It looks like I just like redid it again. I didn't. This is the nail polish doing its thing. But, it's fine because, I mean, it kind of looks cool, right? All the colors bleeding together and such. So then we take our X-Acto and cut it through because, you know, when nail polish dries, it dries pretty stiff, so I had to do that. Anyways, here's our satisfying moment of the video, kind of. So we peeled everything off, cut all the tape off, made sure it was like nice and clean somewhat, and then we took a Sharpie and went along the border to, you know, make it all cohesive because I thought the white thing was going to be a lot better than it was. Anyways, mistakes were made, it's fine. So we'll just set this to the side and move on to the actual pickle jar. So I took all this tape, as you see, and I put where I wanted all the pickles to be, you know, just trying to organize everything. I also just didn't want to do all this stuff and then at the end be like, oh my god, I didn't leave enough room for the label, or oh my god, I didn't leave enough room for summer, or whoever. Anyways, so this pickle thing took me quite a bit, and this happened with every single pickle that I did. I had to wipe it off at least once and then redo it all over again. Because it was hard. We're working on a circular thing, jar. We're making characters we've never made before. It was so hard. I also know that maybe 1 or 2 Rick and Morty fans are gonna watch this, and I don't want to be yelled at for not doing things correctly. So I tried and I tried, so don't be mad at me, okay guys? I tried my best. Anyways, look at Rick. He's so cute. I mean, again, messed up, but I did this over and over again to make sure I did it as best as I could. And I'm sure you don't want to watch all the rest of the characters getting made, so I kind of like fast forwarded it for you so you didn't have to watch all the mistakes that I made, because as I told you, it took me 1 or 2 tries, sometimes 3 tries, to make sure that like the character was exactly like I wanted it to be. Okay, so let's move on. So this one was like my favorite one, Morty. Like, look at him. He's like the only curved pickle. I thought he was cute. And then here's Summer. And then here's Jerry, her dad. I mean, Jerry is like the ugliest one, but... And then there's Mom. That's just Jerry for you. Everyone hates Jerry. So after this little pickle family dried, I went on to do the details, which meant like the eyeballs, the little teeth, and some of the black things did get lost in there. Like I painted over some of them accidentally. So then we go in with our puffy paint again to give back their eyeballs. At this point, I was so happy because they came out like I wanted them to. Not necessarily perfect, but you try painting with puffy paint on a circular jar. It's pretty difficult. So then we go in with our top coats, and yes, we're gonna color them if you haven't picked up on the pattern from all the videos. That's okay, it's okay. I sometimes change things up. So I did change the colors later on because they weren't as like colorful and pickly as I wanted them to be. But in the end, I really like the colors that I picked. So obviously you can see I have a lighter green, a darker green, and then I think I made 2 more greens off camera, just because I was like, well, are they gonna really want to watch me mix paint? Maybe you will, but for the rest of the people, we're just gonna move on. So these are the colors that we picked, and I really, really like them. So we're gonna start off with Morty, and then like last time, this is the time my camera decided to die. So it is all dried, and he looks adorable. Like, I love it. I think after this is when I really, really adjusted the colors for all of them. And I made this lime color for the background because the pickle juice has to be a part of this, right? Right. And for the special guest, we have glitter. Would it be one of my videos without glitter? No. Well, sort of. Anyways, I think it added a lot to this.
Listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Rise above. Focus on science.
Emotional damage.
I'm sure you can see, but we have this pickle, right? So I had to work on the pickle and the background around it at the same time. Because of the circular ways of this jar, it was just really, really hard to like wait for the background to dry or wait for the pickles to dry and then move on to something else. So I just worked on it simultaneously. Now, I don't know if I would go back and change this, but this is Summer, right? And she kind of just looks like a younger version of Jerry. And that's fine. It's just, I kind of wish I maybe would have added hair. But then it's like, well, do you really want a pickle to have hair? It's like a food item, and then there's hair in there. Anyways, so that's why I didn't end up doing it. But anyways, so here we have our label, and we're getting down to like the last little bits of things now. So I took this label, rubber banded it on, and then rubber banded it off after it was done drying, because, you know, with the nail polish, like the paper just wouldn't bend as well, so that's why I had to use the rubber bands. And then here we go, sealing some of the things in, but also adding more and more glitter to make sure that this whole piece is evenly distributed with glitter, because there's nothing worse than not having enough glitter. And at this point, I started to get really, really happy because everything was like coming together perfectly. So then I took some clear coat and I started sealing everything in. I mean, all of this is clear coat, but that's like been, you know, colored. But I finally took like just clear coat, put it all on top, and sealed everything in to make sure that it stays for a really, really long time. And this kind of makes me want this to be a real thing, like a real product that you can eat.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal, I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle!
I am so happy with the final product. I hope you guys really, really like it, because look at it, it's so cool! Like, I'm so proud of myself.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Well, thanks so much for watching me make this. Like, I think I did a really, really good job. I had to make all the characters into pickles, which was fun. Because I haven't really seen a lot of, like, the whole family being a pickle. So that was pretty fun. And I hope you guys aren't too mad about all the, like, little pickle characters, because they're not, like, technically official, but I think I did a pretty good job. Especially with Morty, look at him. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, because I enjoyed making it for you. And hopefully I will see you next week, and I will have to say goodbye. I never know how to say goodbye in these videos, because I feel so, like I just don't want the fun to end. Bye-bye. Peace out. Girl Scout. That's a compliment because I love pickles, which means I love you. Or maybe not. Depends on what flavor of pickle you are, because if you're bread and butter, get the fuck.